You can go ahead and unmute your microphones. All right, welcome to the Chopping It Up show. I'm your host, Joe Beard. Happy to be of service for you today. Today is April 3rd, 2022, 3 o'clock on the West Coast and 6 o'clock on the East Coast. We appreciate all those listening through iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Player FM, or wherever you are on the interwebs. This podcast is brought to you by Blockband Music and Publishing, blockusup.com, SAY Marketing and Promotions, Kevin Peete of ReMax Patriots, Math-Sci Tutoring and Educational Services, Lamik's Video, Bull City Music School, Prodigious Music Concepts LLC, and the HBCU Recruitment Center. So thank you to all of our beloved sponsors. Now today we have another great guest. We always have great guests, but it's always good to talk to somebody from my hometown. The one and only Miss Kim Stemley. How are you doing in this podcast today?
I am wonderful. How are you, Joe?
I'm doing well, doing well. So this is going to be really cool. I can talk to somebody from back home and everything. But Kim has done very well for herself, another proud HBCU graduate. And we'll get into later on what Kim is doing and the wonderful opportunities that she has. And we'll make sure we put out the information for you guys to follow and for you guys to purchase. That's a little teaser there out there for you. All right. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Kim, where are you from?
I am from St. Louis, Missouri, born and raised. Happy that I went away, but happy to be here at the same time. So, yep.
Right.
So specifically, I think for people that are from St. Louis, I'm from Florissant, Missouri. So North County, County Brownie.
Okay. I appreciate that because, somebody told me I was a County Brown. I didn't know what that was. Mm-hmm. But we know what that is. So all you STL people out there, and shout out to you if you went to school with us and you watching. So okay, now Kim, are your parents or your family, are they all from St. Louis too?
No. So my mother is from Mississippi, which a lot of people in this area are here through Mississippi. So Duncan, Mississippi for my mom, and then Alabama actually for my father.
Okay. So see, that's something else I didn't know. My dad's from Mississippi. So that's really cool. Pat Sanders, his mom's from Mississippi. Darian's mom is from Mississippi. So just like you said, I probably could sit here and think of some more folks. But yeah, all us is from Mississippi one way or another.
I think so.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, all right. So I always get into this asking folks from the show. Now, since we grew up in St. Louis, HBCU exposure is a little bit different for us. What would you say was your first HBCU experience?
So I always say actually ended up at an HBCU probably from the show just by watching A Different World. To be honest, I loved, most people were a Cosby fan, but I became some kind of diehard Different World fan too. And so that was my first, what is that? I had never seen anything like that before. And then a good friend of mine from high school, Tasha Malone, which Tasha, Natasha.
Right.
But her aunt actually, and I might be spilling the tea because not that many people may know that this actually happened. I don't even know if her mom knew this happened, but her aunt actually convinced my mom and Natasha's mom to take us on the Black HBCU tour in Atlanta. I think maybe our senior year, and she took us down there, and we did the tour. So we saw Spelman and Morehouse and Clark, Atlanta, and all of those down there. But she also wanted us to go during the time that it was Freaknik. So, so I'm telling my business now, and probably getting a few people in trouble, but But the reason she wanted us to go was actually pretty powerful. Now that I'm looking back on it too, she wanted to impress upon Tasha and myself that we didn't have to dress a certain way or act a certain way to get attention from men and boys, young men, but that we could be fully clothed, be nice young ladies, and get a different type of attention and get positive attention. And she actually wanted us to see the difference between what some girls were getting and what we were getting. And so it actually was educational on so many purposes and so many levels. But that was probably my first, not my mom probably to this day never knew that, but that was actually what we went down there for as well.
Okay, see, I didn't know that either. My folks, no, my mom went to Spelman, and my dad Jackson State, so they weren't from St. Louis, so they were always like, it was like super important for them. Cause I mean, you remember how it was growing up. I think
Yeah,
it's a little bit different now. Like they got like HBCU groups, I think.
yeah.
But I mean, as you know, it was just different. So that's really cool that you had that experience with Tasha. And shout out to Tasha.
Shout
Uh,
out to
I
Tasha.
know. Shout out to Tasha. So that leads me into my next question for you. Then you and I were in the band together.
Yep.
What was your first instrument, and how did you start playing your instrument?
So I actually started playing the flute back at River Rose. And so shout out to all my River Rose family.
Yeah.
And, I think they started us back in like sixth grade or something. You know, you had to pick an instrument. And I think I picked the flute and my mom purchased the flute and I actually stuck with it. And I actually love the flute. I played it all the way through from like sixth grade through high school.
Hmm.
And then I stopped at that point. But, and Joe, you actually sparked an interest in me. I think my maybe junior year or something like that. I veered off just a little bit, maybe a semester or so, to try to learn the trumpet. Maybe I took a year, I don't know, but
Hmm.
that didn't go so well. I sat there with you all and tried to act like a big girl, but I didn't do so good. But I always respected what you did for sure. Being, first trumpet, being the best trumpet that we had, for sure, hands down. And so that was kind of my departure out of the flute, but I love the flute.
So let me give you a round of applause for that. So yeah, I appreciate that. But what's funny is, um, you remember Aaron Foster.
Yep.
Aaron. So
Yep.
Aaron was really good. So I had someone to kind of sit with.
Yep.
Also Derek Johnson, he was like underrated, but he was so much of like an athlete.
Yeah.
He didn't like play as much, but he was good. And then do you remember Mr. Kirsten? He was
I
one of the math teachers, right?
I too. Yep.
Yeah. So his son came in, I think, our senior year. I don't know if you remember him, but he was actually pretty good, actually.
I don't really remember him. I mean, of course, I remember Aaron and Derek, but I remember you being like Aaron's protege
Yeah.
because like Aaron was like a senior when we were like freshmen or something like that, and you were just really really good, and it just seemed like he took you under his wing a little bit, and you became the next Aaron. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you became, and so as he was going out, I remember your reign began. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
it's
remember
cool.
that. I remember that. And I also remember y'all said he was fine. So I was like,
You
I was.
you don't have me on record saying that because we didn't have social media and Facebook and all of that. But you know, you know.
I understand. I understand. I just know I was trying to be all. I was trying to be all like that. You know what I'm saying? So,
I remember you was trying to be like the swag and the whole Aaron Foster thing. Probably didn't make it to Aaron Foster level. I give you some crap. I give you some props. Aaron Foster was a legend in that regard.
right, right, right. And have you seen him recently?
I haven't. And so I don't know what happened. The class, he was what, 90, 90,
93.
93. I was going to say 92, 93. Yeah, I haven't. So I don't know. I don't even know if he's still in St. Louis. So
I don't know either. I know I found him on Facebook because I still keep up with Julian Johnson. Uh,
okay, yep.
yep, Julian. He's always like been a mentor, and especially like when I be wilding out, he, checks in on me and stuff. But I think he still keeps up with Aaron. But Aaron is like swole diesel now. Like
Whoa.
he's all like, cause you remember he was skinny when we were in school, but now he's like super muscular now.
Well,
So
I guess his legacy continues.
right,
That's a whole different
right.
like dang.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't know if you, cause I know he was still there when we were home for our reunion. I think the 10-year reunion. I saw him at that church. I didn't get a chance to talk to him. But yeah, I'm gonna actually reach out to him. I actually plan to have him on the show too one time. But yeah, that's really cool. Now, did he go to River Rose too?
He did not. No. So my first, I don't. He didn't go to River Roads.
Okay.
Unless he was. I mean, he was older than us. So unless he was
Right.
there and I didn't know, but I don't think he was a River Rose kid.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
I can't remember where he went either, but I remember when y'all came in, I really liked y'all cuz y'all came in as a group and that was like the core of our numbers. The River Road. It was Jennifer, you,
Yep.
uh Tasha,
Yep.
Janine. So yeah, and then I remember I used to do Jesse Jackson impersonations for y'all. I
Oh
remember
my
that.
God.
y'all was
That's so silly.
y'all
I
was my
remember you
crew.
being extremely funny and silly. So that sounds like you, Joe.
Yeah, y'all was my crew, man. So I was just happy to have y'all around. Okay, so you played flute. So we was in the band, and like you said, you played all through high school. So now we get to the point where it's 96 and we about to finish school. Tell me about how your college decision process was, and where did you end up going to school?
So I remember the process for me started with Miss EJ. I know you remember Miss Charlotte
Yeah,
EJ.
yeah.
And I remember being in her office and she was like, Kim, you got the grades, you got we were in what, every honor society or whatever we were, doing all kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The band and, extracurriculars. And she was like, you can go where you want to go. And I remember applying all over, the different schools, and I got into schools. But again, that went back to my experience, my different world that I was seeing, and then my experience actually when I went to Atlanta. And, I loved Lutheran North. Lutheran North was probably the most diverse high school, probably still is in the St. Louis region in terms of ethnicity and diversity.
Yeah.
And so we had, it was always this thing, do we have 50-50? Do we have seven? It was a lot of black people and it was a lot of white people, where
Right.
in St. Louis, it's usually heavily geared one to or another. So
Right.
it's usually either highly majority is white or majority is black. And our school had the uniqueness of being really diverse, what diversity really looks like. Which is good. So I was always comfortable around both, to be honest, white, black, whatever. I always been comfortable. So for me, it was like I wanted to make a decision to be around my people, and I
Mm-hmm.
thought that at the time I applied for Hampton, I applied for I think Clark, Tennessee State, landed at Tennessee State. My first choice, to be honest, if I'm fully honest, my first choice was actually Hampton. And I got into Hampton. They gave me some money. But once I realized, doing the math at that time, started doing the
Yep.
math
Yep.
and realizing that trip back and forth from Virginia to St. Louis,
But no joke.
that was no joke.
No.
And I was like, okay, I got a single mom here. How is she going to get me home? And really just I felt like in the best interest of my mom and not trying to extend her. She never said anything. She may not even have known, to be honest, that my decision was just to make it a little bit more affordable for our family. But great decision nonetheless. I don't trade it in the world.
Yeah, and Tennessee State is a great school, and then it was like what, like 4 hours away, maybe five
Yeah,
hours,
right,
so
right. So
so
I
it was
have
close.
many memories of just several of us getting in the car and you hopped in somebody's car. I don't even know, some you didn't might even know who that person was, but you hopped in the
Right.
car and you just drove home, so it was always a car coming back to St. Louis that I could come home before we start getting cars. But yeah.
That's cool. Hampton was my first choice too. Well, you know what? I kind of wanted to go to Florida A&M. I was going somewhere with a band,
Yeah.
but I
Oh yeah.
was so East Coast at the time, and I just refused to go to Jackson State because that was where my family was. I was like, I'm not going there.
So
You know,
rebellious though.
I know. I was like, I really want to make my own path. You know what I'm saying? And because my mother's from North Carolina, so
Mm.
she was a little bit more Miakish, CIAA-ish, and my dad was super swag. So they would kind of like go back and forth about telling me, well, like, if you go here, like, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, I want to make my own path.
Mhm.
And Hampton was what I ended up, and then I got in trouble. So I didn't stay there that long. But I'm happy.
Gotcha.
You know
You
what I'm
landed where
saying?
you were supposed to be.
Right,
See?
right. Just trying to be hard headed. That's what I learned, later on. It was probably the best thing for me. But I'm happy now. So that's cool. So you're at Tennessee State. What we're
Yep.
gonna do now is we're gonna take our commercial break, play the commercial for all our sponsors, and then when we come back, I'm gonna ask you what you wanted to major in, what you wanted to do when you got out of school, and then that'll lead into you being the contributing author. And so I want to ask you a couple of things about that, and a couple of things as far as like your career and how that's been going.
Sounds good.
All right, so we'll mute our microphones and we'll be back. You chopping it up with the one and only Kimberly Stemley from the crib, and we'll be right back after we hear from our beloved sponsors.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
The source for fair and factual information on your favorite college bands, blockusup.com. Well-written articles, in-depth band performance analysis, helpful resources for band directors, fun band-related topics, and exclusive interviews with some of today's brightest and most talented leaders of college marching bands. Visit us at blockusup.com, the meeting place for band fans and band directors.
Hello, everyone. This is Joe Beard from the Marching Podcast. Is your school, club, or organization looking for high quality decorated apparel to outfit your students, staff, club, or team? Tired of the same old boring white t shirt? Are you in charge of the upcoming fundraiser or special event but don't really have time to troll the internet for ideas or compare products? SAY can help with design and product selection. We can even assist with ideas on conducting an effective fundraising program. SAY can help you save time and get your message heard. So call 1 800 975 3156. SAY Marketing and Promotions.
Give your brand a voice.
If you're thinking about buying or selling real estate in the Southern California area, please contact Kevin Peete of ReMax Patriots. He will meet and exceed all of your needs. You can contact Kevin at 951 858 5942. That's 951 858 5942. Or you can email Kevin at kpsaleshomes at sbcglobal.net. That's KP, his initials, Kevin Peete, KP Sales Homes, all one word, at sbcglobal.net. Thanks again.
You want the best barbecue around? Smokey-O's coming to your town. Ribs, chopped beef, baked potatoes too. Smokey-O's know what's good for you. You want the best barbecue around? Smokey-O's coming to your town. Ribs, chopped beef, baked potatoes too. Smokey-O's know what's good for you. Smokey-O's, come check us out.
Providing online or one-on-one instruction for high school and college students in algebra, geometry, trigonometry, calculus, physics, and chemistry. Visit Math-Sci-Tutor.com. That's MATHSCI tutor, TUTOR.com to schedule a session or contact Michael Okoro at michael@mathscitutor.com. So again, visit mathscitutor.com, mathsci-tutor.com to schedule a session or contact Michael Okoro at michael@mathscitutor.com, providing online and one-on-one instruction for high school and college students in algebra, geometry, trigonometry, calculus, physics, and chemistry. Math-Sci-Tutor.com.
Do you like marching bands? Do you love band videos? Go subscribe to Lamik's Videos YouTube channel. Lamik's Videos YouTube channel has the largest archive of unbiased marching band videos on the internet. iPad giveaways, AirPod giveaways, and more. One more thing. Do you like this video? Prove it, motherfucker. Hit the like button right now. Hit that like button and subscribe to Lamik's Videos right now.
Bull City Music School is the modern approach to music. Enroll today and experience one of our virtual classes, and I can personally say that they are great. My daughter is a student at Bull City Music School learning the piano, and her teacher, Janetta Powell Hopkins, is doing an outstanding job. You can call Bull City Music School at 919-423-5701. That's 919-423-5701. Or you can go to their website at bullcitymusicschool, all one word.com. That's bullcitymusicschool, all one word.com. Bull City Music School, the modern approach to music. The HBCU Recruitment Center is the premier hub for increasing awareness and student interest in pursuing a college education at one of our nation's historically black colleges and universities. Founded by Dr. Tamisha Price Brock and Mr. Ricardo Reese, the HBCU Recruitment Center is headquartered in Las Vegas, Nevada, and provides educational consulting, degree and institution matching, and educational workshops for students and families. By forging student partnerships with key institution officials, the HBCU Recruitment Center will be the blueprint and catalyst for increased recruitment, enrollment, retention, and successful matriculation of BIPOC students at our nation's historically black colleges and universities. For more information, visit our website at www.hbcurecruitmentcenter.org. That's HBCU Recruitment Center, all one word.org. Or you can give us a call, 1-800 676 1136. The HBCU Recruitment Center. Prodigious Music Concepts, LLC, founded by Dr. Tamisha Price Brock and Mr. Ricardo Reese. Prodigious Music Concepts, LLC, offers comprehensive music instruction, education consulting, and professional development services for K through 12 educators and administrators and college university music majors, faculty, staff, and administrators. Headquartered in Las Vegas, Nevada, our services are offered in both face-to-face and online settings, with individual and group services tailored to your needs. Contact us today at 470-771-9447. That's 470-771-9447. Or visit us on the web at www.pmconcepts.org. Prodigious Music Concepts, where we are musically building a better tomorrow.
Hello, my name is Kellen J. Christian. I am the director of bands at Oak Haven High School in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm also the assistant director of Talladega College in Talladega, Alabama. I'm a native of Chicago, Illinois. I'm a 2007 graduate of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. M4, baby, swag, stand up. And you are listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
My name is Kennedy Beard, and I'm an honor roll student in the 6th grade. I'm also the daughter of Joseph Beard, and you're listening to the Marching Podcast.
Hi, my name is Alonzo Beard, and I'm a 3rd grade honor roll student, and I'm the son of Joseph Beard, and you're listening to the Marching Podcast.
All right, we're back. We can unmute our microphones. Back to chopping it up here with Kimberly Stemley. Okay, so you were at Tennessee State. I want to ask you, do you have a memorable experience there at Tennessee State that you could share with us?
One memorable experience. That's a hard one, only because there's so many. Right. I would say, like I said, I started off by saying I went to an HBCU initially being inspired by A Different World, the TV show. And much of my college experience actually looked just like A Different World, to be honest. So, it was the highs, the lows, the food court. They always hung out in the food court. Right. We always had a hole, that we hung out in and chopped it up with. You could catch up with anybody. We were playing spades. Going to class, going to parties, everything. So a lot of it. And I say the highs and lows because Different World always dealt with serious topics and hard topics at the same time that were relevant to the Black community. And so many of those I lived through at the same time in real life. But if there had to be one, I guess I would say, definitely hands down homecoming, right? So hands down, nothing beats a homecoming at an HBCU. I don't care which one it is. Some are better than others. But all homecomings at the HBCU are legendary for sure. And, we have had some legendary experiences at our homecomings, the games, just being in the stands and being a fan at the games is an experience all on its own. You're at a party just being at the game, and, then you leave and go to a party, so it was, I think that to me, pep rallies were always just fire. So our pep rallies, I haven't had anything that compares to it. I think if I had to pick one, hands down, any homecoming of any year was the best.
Yeah. It's funny you said that, and I forgot to say it too. My parents were both they were huge Cosby Show fans, so I was too. And then Different World came out. We watched that because you remember it would come on right after the Cosby Show,
Yep.
on TV, and we would tape it. And so now with all the streaming services, I show my kids A Different World. We're up to season 6 now.
Right.
So what was really deep was we just watched that episode. You remember when Ron and Dwayne went to the football game and they played the PWI and they got in trouble with the dudes that were trying to. So we just watched that, and so like you said, they dealt with some real issues sometime. And so I actually had a conversation with my kids about, because they didn't know what they were spraying on his car. You know what I'm saying? So we talked about that, and I totally forgot Jada Pinkett was Lena from Baltimore. I totally forgot that.
That's why I think she got her start, and she was a good Lena.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was cool to see her, because just like like we saw it back in the day, but then when you see it again, especially as an adult, it's like different. So it's just like wow. So so it's cool that like I have these things to show my kids, because we're not that close to anything like that. So yeah, Different World, that was pretty dope. And then of course my mom went to Spelman, so she was all excited when they would show the campus, and she was like, oh yeah, that's so. She was all excited. So it's cool that my kids are able to have that experience now. Okay.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I liked about it too is, like I said, every major experience from the show, on some level I lived it. Like you brought that one up. That happened to be a deep, serious, racially motivated incident. But there were other moments that were like, you would have celebrities come by, you would have dignitaries come to the school, you would have on the show, Jesse Jackson would come, and all these different people would come by. And my college experience was similar to that. I remember seeing, she was Secretary of State Madeleine Albright at the time, who recently just passed. Yeah. But Madeleine Albright came to our school. She was my first dignitary that I ever witnessed in person. And I was able to go into the private session, and it was like a larger group of us that were able to meet her and listen to her. But I remember that was my first time seeing power, it felt like, of that magnitude. You know what I mean? When you come in with a Secret Service, and I was like, whoa, who is this woman? And I didn't fully understand at that time, but it made me want to understand what is this political space that she operates in. Who is the Secretary of State? Who is that? And so, like I said, all the major moments from the show, my lived experience really, really looked like that.
That's really cool. Yeah. I remember our keynote address was Roderick Page, and he was on the cabinet, Secretary of Education, with George Bush, the second one. Mm-hmm. So we were all proud to see him, and there was a couple other famous people, but yeah, it takes it back, because it did a really good job of painting that picture. And then we even had one year, it wasn't that popular, but they had a step show with the dorms, and there was an episode with that on Different World too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that was normal. You know what I mean? So it's a TV show, but that was normal. They would have Heavy D would come to their school, or whoever, you know what I mean? And I never got Heavy D, but we got like Joe, we got Genuine. I remember people just coming through, either if they were at their height or they were about to be at their height, you know what I mean? And they would come through your school, and they would do a quick concert, or you would see them walking on campus or something. And so that was normal, but it was the best.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm glad you went that way too, because I wish more of our classmates had that experience, because it was different. So all right, so you at Tennessee State, and did you know what you wanted to do when you got out? Like, what major did you decide on and what was your plans as far as like when you got out? What were you gonna do in the real world?
So I did. I think I was one of the rare, unique, I'm finding out, or maybe weird, I don't know, kids that kind of knew what they wanted to do. And it actually came from an accounting class that we had, I think my junior year with Mr. Hippenbecker. And I don't know if you remember this, but Mr. Hip, before he became a principal, was just our teacher.
Yeah.
So Mr. Hip was my accounting teacher in I think my junior year in high school, and I never knew what accounting was, but I literally fell in love with accounting. As weird as that sounds, I did, and I remember him saying, "Accounting is the language of business, and if you understand accounting, you can understand everything in business." And it's true. He was right, So I actually wanted to get a degree in accounting. I went to Tennessee State and sought out to get a degree in accounting, and I did that. Then I later found out about this thing called being a CPA, a certified public accountant, and all the requirements that it takes to do that. And then I did that. And so I've had a pretty successful career in finance and business, and I loved it. But some kind of way I've known early on, and it just always worked out for me to do it.
That's outstanding. And you take it back to Mr. Hip. Remember, he was our freshman basketball coach.
Yep.
So I remember that. I also remember.
I forgot that.
Yeah. I also remember, and this was funny because I always think about you. You and I took, I don't know if you remember this, but you and I took a business class. It was I can't remember the name, but it was a business class, and we had to create like a fictional business, and the woman would give us assignments, and we had to build our business. Do you remember that class?
I don't, but
Oh
I
my
probably
God.
loved it, Joe, because I love weird stuff like that. I love doing it to this day.
Yeah,
You probably did not like it.
It was all right. I didn't. Plus, like I was a little bit more of a goofball. Like I didn't really mature until later on, like in my years and stuff. But it was a fun class because DeAnthony was in. It was a couple other people, and we used to like have fun. And I remember you. I can't believe you don't remember this class, but it was a woman. She wasn't like a normal teacher. I think they hired her on to teach the class, and it was never. We never had like. We never went out and started. It was all fictional, and I'll never forget.
I remember, yeah.
You said, "Well, are we about to do something real?" Or like you asked something like that, and the woman got mad at you, boy. I remember that.
That sounds like me being bossy then,
yes.
being bossy now.
Oh my God, it was so funny. You was like, "Is this all we about to do?" Or something you said. And she did not like you said that, boy. So,
what is the point of this?
Yeah, but it was a good class because it gave us it's certain things. Even like now with me doing the podcast, it was like I remember she taught us about some marketing, and she taught us about like certain things as far as how we want to present ourselves in public, and like we had to do a press release or something like that. I remember stuff like that.
You remember a lot.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I was having a good time. High school was, like, real, like the bomb for me, so.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. It really was.
It was. Okay, so that's really cool. And I didn't know you were a CPA. I think Janine Henderson is a CPA, too.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. I hadn't talked to her, but I saw her when I was at home last, and so I've kept up with her over the years a little bit. So that's good to know. Okay, so then when did you finish, and then what was your first job then out of Tennessee State?
So I graduated, I think in December of 2001.
Okay.
Was when I came out, and then actually had interned, did a couple of stints of internship. So I think I started interning like my sophomore year or freshman year or something like that. So I'm always big on telling people and students intern, wherever you can.
Yep.
Get that experience for sure early on, because it helps you to understand if you do I really want to do this. If you do, then it'll keep adding skill sets to help you get there and get there a little faster. So my first internship was actually at Sara Lee company in Earth Grains in Clayton.
Okay.
And I interned there. And then I left my second year. I think I did 2 years at Earth Grains and Sara Lee. And then 2 years actually at Ernst & Young in public accounting. And then I started my career in public accounting. At that time, it was Big Four accounting, but started in public accounting. That was back in the days when, they spend a lot of money on you recruiting and stuff like that. And so they sent us to Disney World for a week.
Wow.
To train. And I thought I had made it. I was like,
right.
I was like, I made it, but it was cool, so that was, that was also too when companies were throwing money around, where they were flying you here, flying you there, doing all kind of stuff. It's a little different nowadays, and how we interact and do work with each other today is a little different, but it was good.
Okay. And then now today you're at the YWCA.
Yeah.
And how long have you been there?
So I always say I'm the new kid on the block at YWCA. I actually started there October 21. So I just got there. I don't even know if I got 6 months in, but I still tease with them that I'm the new kid. But the president, Dr. Cheryl Watkins Moore, she's been there since July of 21. So we're both new.
Okay.
So we're in good company being new, but I've been doing this in this space, like I said, it's scary to say it, but I guess almost 20 years now at this point that I've been doing it. Like I said, started out at Ernst & Young in big public accounting, and then left there to go to telecommunications at AT&T, which was downtown at that time, the big AT&T building downtown. When that was a lot of people in that building, and then went from there to a company called Innoventor, and then did a nonprofit pharmacy for about 10 years before the YWCA pulled me over with them.
Okay. That's cool. So yeah, like you say, it's about 20 years, because I finished 01 too. So that's 20 years, Kim.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
I know.
We still look good though, Joe.
I'm about to say, Kim, I don't see how you like still look the same, or how you ain't gained no weight. Cause I be struggling with the weight stuff.
Whatever. We all struggling with the weight stuff. It's just
not you, Kim.
We all struggle with the weight stuff.
Okay. All right. So that then leads me to you being a contributing author. And the book is called Overcoming, Living Our Best Life in Spite of. And so make sure you guys can go to Amazon. I'll make sure that when I repost this episode, I have a link in the description.
Here's my shameless plug. Here's the book.
There you go. Let me make sure I get that on there. That's good.
Right. No, this was cool.
How did that come? Yeah. Who reached out to you? How did it start? Tell me all about how you became a contributing author.
So the book is called Overcoming, Living Our Best Life in Spite of. It's a compilation of 35 contributing authors, and it was compiled by Pat Coleman. Pat Coleman is officially her title. She's the president of BHR, Behavioral Health Response. Okay. Unofficially, I'm her biggest fan, and she just happens to love me. And so we met several years ago, and we've been running together tight ever since. And so Pat called me, I think really about a year ago. I felt like when she called me, we were in the midst of the pandemic, because I remember it was the middle of the day, and I was at home standing outside sitting on the porch or something. It was crazy. because we didn't have anywhere to go. The world had shut down.
Right.
And she was like, "Hey, I'm about to pull this book together. I'd like you to be part of it." And I was like, "Okay, let's do it." Whenever Pat asked me to do something, I always try to make it happen. And at the time, it was like, okay. And then this time around, when it came up to do it, my life had kicked up and all kinds of things, but I was happy to be able to be a part of it with so many other powerful women telling their stories, and Black women. These are all Black women telling their overcoming stories. I'm hoping that the other Black women and the women behind us would see themselves somewhere in somebody's story. We don't all have the same stories. And we have a lot of overcoming stories. So I'm sure if you talk to any one of these ladies, this is just a small sliver of what they have endured and overcome to be who they are today. So very happy to be part of it. And so I say that to say when Pat, asked me to be part of it some time ago, I don't think any of us ever would have imagined that the book would have become a best international seller on Amazon. And so for it to be, for me, for us now to be international best-selling authors is like unbelievable. It's crazy just being asked to tell your story. So it's really, really cool.
Yeah. And of course, just like us talking today, I learned some things about you I didn't know. And just a little teaser, you guys make sure you go out and get the book, and you can get it on Amazon. It's what I did. I got the digital version because I kind of got away in the last couple of years of buying like hard copies because I like pulling everything up on my phone or like my little tablet. So I read your story. So a couple of things I didn't know about you in there, but the main thing, there was one incident I talked to you a little bit about before we started, and I want people to read what you went through because I just know I'm just really working on my maturity and my spiritual relationship, but I just don't know. I'm not sure what I would have done. Because I've never, me being in geography and I draw maps, it's not like your type of job where if you have like an idea or like boardrooms, we don't have stuff like that. We just like it's basically a lot of computer nerds saying, "Hey, when are we gonna build this?" and like that, and that's it.
Right.
But you having like ideas and being able to put things out there and like meetings, it definitely changes the game. So when you told your story, I was like, "Damn, really?" And then I got mad and I was like, "Let me calm down." And then you were saying like, again, the overall theme of the book about overcoming. So I hope people check it out and see like how you handle yourself. But I have to say, I give you, you should be commended for that. Because you didn't have a story where it's like, all right, after this happened, I went to jail, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Like,
Nobody lost their job.
Right.
Nobody got arrested. No.
Right. So you guys make sure you go out and get that book. It's Overcoming. Here, let me give you the big camera again. Can you put up the book again for us?
Here is the shameless plug. It's called Overcoming: Living Your Best Life in Spite of. So This is right now on Amazon. It's crazy. Like if you Google us, I think we're right there right now with Tony Robbins and
wow.
And it's like how did that happen? But I know it's, and this is my plug for Jesus. I know it's God. I know everything that we've talked about today, Joe. From growing up from River Rose to Lutheran North, to the book and the boardrooms and all of those different things. My life literally has been graced with God's presence every step of the way. And so I know who I am and where I come from. And so some of those things you were like, how did you get through something like that? Those are spiritual maturity moments. Those are moments when you don't know how you're going to get through it. It's very hurtful, painful and shameful all at the same time, because you like, I should have known better. You always think you should know better or do better. and you really can't do better until you can do better. And that's just the reality of it. So giving ourselves some grace for making blunders and making mistakes, but at the same time, God has been with me every step of the way and has had grace for my mistakes and grace for and strength for helping me deal with other times when people weren't so kind or welcoming or any of those different things. But that's when you learn. You learn in the hardest times. And when you're a kid, you don't like to hear that, that those are the biggest opportunities for growth, but it really is true. And so I thank God that I've learned some of those lessons and still working on the next batch.
Right. Well, here, let me give you a round of applause for that. Yeah, but that's really, really cool. So we'll get to the end of the interview. And again, really, really proud of you, Kim. You were always one of the smart ones. So I always knew that you were like going to be okay. And I remember you used to kind of get on me a little bit, and you were like, you seem like you have so much potential, Joe. Like,
I did.
You did.
I remember that, Joe. I remember that because I knew you had more, and you were so smart. But like you said, you like to have fun, and I like to have fun too. But I was like, Joe, come on. I remember fussing at you a couple times. I put on my mama hat a couple times.
You did. But that's cool. It's somewhere it sunk in. You know what I'm saying?
But you didn't yell back. You just some kind of way. You was just like, okay, Kim.
Yeah, because I knew it. I knew deep down. Like I was like, she probably right. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up. But I always appreciate your friendship. And then, like I said, man, take it back to the River Rose crew. Man, y'all was my peoples, man. You know what I'm saying? So it was really good to have y'all in the band. And then, of course, to see everybody doing so well. I plan to interview everybody, to be honest with you. A lot of people from our class and from our school. But, since I'm not doing this full time, it'll just take a while to get to everybody. But I talked to some people from our school. I know you know John Pickett's. Yep. He designed all the logos that I have.
He's the best.
Yeah. And then I talked to John Needham. You remember John?
Yep. I remember John well. He almost killed me some years back in a boot camp. I went to his boot camp class.
Yeah, buddy.
I don't know if I made it. I'm here.
Right. But he went to Xavier, which tripped me out.
Yeah.
So it's been cool, but I know I'm gonna be talking to more people from our school. But when I saw that you had the book, I was like, okay, let me go ahead and holler at Kim now and get her to talk about it, so we can get that over. And I know I'm gonna be talking to some more people from our school the rest of this year.
Very cool.
Yeah, so it's really, really good to talk to you
too, Joe. I appreciate you. I think I remember you being whether you see it that way or not, you were always a leader. Just, you were goofy, you were funny, you were the band leader, but you were like our unofficial class leader too. And so for you to have come full circle in your life as well, in your own overcoming story, you need to write your own book. So your own overcoming story. And then now, you're putting us on the platform and leading us again. And so, I appreciate you giving me this space, but even like you said, giving others from our school the space and this platform. Like I said, you doing it again, Joe. You leading us again, and so I appreciate it. I really do.
Let me give you another round of applause for that. I really appreciate that. Someone else told me about I need to write a book, but I'm still weighing the options. I think I'm a archive and take some stuff down, but I'm worried about what my mother will see or hear. Like, cause my mother still watches the show, so I still watch what I say and all that other stuff. It took a while for me to admit out loud about what happened for Hampton, cause I know that was
what you saying, right?
So it took a while for that, but I'm still kind of weighing out because I'm sure she don't know everything, but you know what I'm saying.
I get it.
Yeah. So
Well,
that's
a
what's
couple
up.
books. This book, the PG version, and then the other version.
Right, right. I might have to.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you have anything? Because we're about to close out the show. Do you have any advice? Anything that you would like to say? If you want to pub the book one more time, anything before we close out the podcast?
You know, I guess if I say anything, like I said, thank you for the opportunity to speak for sure. The book is called Overcoming Living Your Best Life in Spite of. I think in that vein is really, we hear this often, don't give up, but I am living proof not to give up. Our lives are but a vapor. They really are. So make sure that we're intentional every single day in living our best life. And even when we fall and make mistakes, and sometimes really, really bad mistakes, that doesn't have to be your end. A tragedy is only a tragedy if you don't get back up. And so make sure, despite whatever happens, you get back up and you'll win. You really, really will. So that's it.
That's outstanding. A round of applause. So you guys make sure again to go on Amazon and get a copy of Kim's book, and I'm going to post it in the episode trailer information as we redo this, because the show again it'll keep tweeting out on Twitter, and then it'll be on Facebook, and then it'll be a couple of pictures on Instagram, stuff like that. So you guys make sure you follow the Marching Podcast. If you weren't able to get this live, you'll be able to catch up with all the information with Kim and all the things we talked about today. That's all the time we have for the show. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or a patron to the Marching Podcast, please contact the show and we'll give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. We'll play your commercial. We'll post your website on our blog. We'll help send out your information through social media. So contact us so we can help to build your business. That's all the time that we have for this podcast today. Check out the website and donate what's in your heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening, and remember, the eye is a better pupil and more willing than the ear. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. See you next time.
Do you like marching bands? Do you love band videos? Go subscribe to Lamik's